Have you ever given someone a reality check? I was in my junior year when our economics teacher assigned the most dreaded project of the semester. Group work worth 40% of our final grade. 4 people per team. Of course I got stuck with Austin, Kendall, and Jake, 3 guys who spent most of class watching TikToks under their desks. Our first meeting was at the school library. I showed up with my notebook ready to plan everything out. Austin walked in 15 minutes late with Starbucks. Kendall never showed. Jake came but kept his AirPods in the whole time. When I suggested we divide up the research, they all nodded and said, yeah, totally. That was the last I heard from them for 2 weeks. I texted the group chat asking about their progress. Nothing. I called Austin directly, straight to voicemail. I even cornered Jake after chemistry class. He just shrugged and said he'd get to it eventually. The presentation was due Monday. By Friday night, I was panicking. I stayed up until 4 a.m. doing everyone's research. Saturday, I made the entire PowerPoint. Sunday, I wrote a 12-page report and created handouts for the whole class. I was running on energy drinks and pure stress. Monday morning rolled around and suddenly my phone was blowing up. The group chat that had been dead for weeks was full of messages. Austin asking what time we were presenting. Kendall wondering if someone could email him the slides. Jake asking if we needed to dress up. I walked into class feeling like a zombie. Dark circles under my eyes. My hands were literally shaking from too much caffeine. Meanwhile, my teammates looked fresh and relaxed. Austin was wearing a button-down shirt he probably borrowed from his dad. Kendall had actually combed his hair for once. When Mrs. Peterson called our group up to present, they all stood up confidently like they had worked just as hard as me. I started the presentation and went through our research on inflation rates and unemployment statistics. Every slide I clicked through represented hours of my work they knew nothing about. Austin jumped in during the middle to add some random comment that wasn't even accurate. Kendall nodded along like he understood what we were talking about. Jake just stood there looking serious and important. After we finished, Mrs. Peterson said it was one of the best presentations she had seen all semester. She was impressed with our thorough research and professional slides. Austin actually smiled and said thanks, like he had contributed anything at all. That's when something inside me snapped. I raised my hand before we could sit down. Actually, Mrs. Peterson, I need to tell you something. The whole class went quiet. My teammates looked at me with confused expressions. I did this entire project by myself. Every single slide, all the research, the written report, everything. They didn't respond to any of my messages for 2 weeks. I have screenshots of our group chat if you want to see them. Austin's face went bright red. Kendall started to say something, but I kept talking. I stayed up until 4 a.m. Friday night because none of them had done anything. I texted them, called them, even tried talking to them in person. They ignored me completely until this morning when they suddenly cared about what time we were presenting. Mrs. Peterson looked at my teammates with raised eyebrows. Is this true? Jake tried to defend himself. We were going to help, but what? I interrupted. I have text messages from 3 weeks ago asking you to pick a topic. You left me on red. Kendall mumbled something about being busy with football practice. Austin claimed his phone had been broken. All excuses they could have mentioned weeks ago if they actually cared. Mrs. Peterson nodded slowly. Thank you for your honesty. Please see me after class to discuss grades. The rest of the period was awkward as hell. My teammates wouldn't look at me. Some kids were giving me weird stares. I started to worry I had made a huge mistake. After class, Mrs. Peterson pulled me aside. She said she appreciated me speaking up because academic integrity mattered. She gave me full credit for the project. My teammates each got 20% credit for showing up to present. Austin failed economics that semester. Kendall barely passed. Jake had to do extra credit just to get a C-.